What up, this is Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Netflix new series, Class. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell, so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. Let's rock this! First up, I would like to say thank you to Netflix for granting me the screeners to this entire new show. They've asked me to not spill spoilers, therefore this review is spoiler free. I repeat, there are no spoilers in this video review. You know, back when the trailer for this show came out, I'm not gonna lie, I was intrigued. I remember there was a lot of pushback against it, mainly from those who think that there should be no remake of any kind. But I, on the other hand, found the whole premise interesting. You see, I was a huge fan of the first 3 seasons of Netflix Spanish series Elite, and I say that because after season 3, the show's quality took a nosedive and never recovered, and I eventually completely lost interest in it. And let's face it, the concept has been beaten to death with Rebelde and Blood and Water, among many other examples. But I figured India's version of Elite could actually work, because on top of the wealth and the power dynamics, there's also the social caste system that has been operating there for hundreds of years. And look, I came from Indonesia, not India, but trust me, much of what is portrayed or depicted in Class is something that Indonesia shares in common with, including its poverty level. This show reminds me of the things that I grew up noticing in Indonesia in terms of the prejudice and the resentment in the social class divide. And if you think that racism could not exist among people of color in Asia, well, think again, because lighter skin versus darker skin is a thing, in addition to this tribe versus that tribe, unfortunately. So, I've watched the entire 8 episodes of this new show Class, and that's exactly what the creators convey, and they convey it defiantly. Sure, they have to add a disclaimer at the beginning of every episode in order to have some sort of a plausible deniability. Oh, it's just a fictional show, guys. We don't mean anything by it. Yeah, right. But holy smokes, Class does not hold back in their adaptation of Elite. I mean, for a story that is set in a very conservative culture, Class is intense, it's edgy, it's authentic, it's thought-provoking. Even the dialogues are unabashedly strong. You can feel the hatred that these characters have for each other, which makes the whodunit mystery all the more tantalizing. I think, as far as remake goes, Class is pretty damn good. Based on the global hit Spanish series Elite, Class is a young adult series that chronicles the mishaps and mayhem that will unravel when everyone is under the same roof. Paths intertwine, ideologies clash, and sentiments run high at Hampton International. Joining the elite academy of students who have the world in the palm of their hands are 3 scholarship students from the other side of the track with nothing to lose. What happens when these 2 stark worlds collide? Like any emotional upheaval, chaos is right around the corner, but when there's a murder in the mix, distrust is rampant and no one is who they say they are. After all, with clandestine relationships come clandestine betrayals. Conflicts brew in the school, secrets deepen, and everyone is a suspect. Starring Gurfate Pirzada, Anjali Sivaraman, Ayesha Kanga, Shayan Chopra, Piyush Kati, and Zain Shah. Okay, those of you who have seen the original show Elite, well, character-wise, Class basically follows more or less the same formula, which makes the story more or less also predictable to a certain extent. But it also adds in elements that will hit close to home for audiences in Asia, aspects that will resonate with audiences in that region. Class has its own version of Guzman, it has its own version of Omar, its own version of Samuel, and it also has its own version of Nadia. In this one, her name is Saba. But I feel that Class has a better, more comprehensive understanding in exploring the tension between the Muslims and the locals compared to Elite, which often treated Nadia as nothing more than a plot device. Now, because of the culture in India that's vastly different from a liberal place like Spain, there are some things that this show has to tiptoe around. Yes, it has sex scenes, but it doesn't show nudity. Yes, it has parties, but the parties are not outrageously wild like the ones on Elite. But you know what? I kinda like this take because the parties on Class actually have purpose, meaning they are an integral part of the story, as opposed to, hey, let's pause the story just to excessively show girls in bikinis in a swimming pool. Having said that, those few restrictions do not minimize the creator's intention of addressing or tackling the social conflicts. Their effort still comes off passionate and controversial and brutally honest. And so that theme, that concept becomes even more palpable because of the culture in which this story is set. As for the performances, this group of dynamic young cast ensemble, they are electric. Committed and fiery, you can almost believe that they despise one another, and they all look fantastic. Fresh faces with spunky personalities and sex appeal. And the lines that they deliver, the insults and the slurs, cut deep like a knife. And not once do I get the sense that these actors are pressured to emulate their counterparts on Elite, which is a good thing. The story is set in New Delhi, and the directors did a fine job of capitalizing on all the logistics. And by that I mean this show does not shy away from the slums and the alleys. I mean, the differences in which some of these characters live is like night and day. Class genuinely presents the beautiful and the not so beautiful sides of India. It's another reason why bringing Elite's story to a conservative culture like this could actually work, because the deep-seated bigotry towards LGBTQ or towards the poor plays a big factor in how powerful or how impactful the drama can be. To me, the murder mystery is just a vehicle for the writers-showrunners to bring your attention to what truly matters in Class. And it's good that they have the creative liberty to do so. Class is designed to hold a mirror up to India's society, compelling them to confront their own uncomfortable realities. Now, whether or not it's effective, at the very least, it would make for an interesting topic around the water cooler.